Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a Boeing 737 pilot and a member of PMDG's tech team. PMDG has just made live the next update for the 737 for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I want to show you a couple of the differences that you will find included in this version. So the changelog is rather long, so I'm just going to focus on some of the aspects that I find to be more important. Now, some of you will certainly find other things to be more important, and of course that just comes down to personal taste. So, first of all, there have been quite a few changes to the virtual cockpit again. For example, the speed brake lever has gotten a much more crisper texture. The underside of the stabilizer trim cutout guards is now red rather than black previously, and when the engine the fire switches are pulled, they no longer float in the air but are actually connected to the panel. There are quite a bit of more changes in there. For example, there used to be a missing space-time between the R of the wiper over here, and some small stuff like this, and of course some of the bigger stuff that I've just showed you about. Now, there are also some changes in for the systems, of course, and probably the most noticeable one was that in previous versions the LNAV button and the heading select button could be illuminated at the same time. Now that cannot happen in the real 737, and it's now been fixed by PMDG as well. Since we're on the MCP already, there is also a corrected incorrect switch illustration for Toga. And looking down at it, by the way, you can see some changes down here as well. Just looks a little bit crisper in my personal opinion. Alright, going back up, when you have been flying in VNAV mode and you have been using the speed intervent button to open up the speed window, the aircraft would previously have shown MCP speed on the FMA, and now it correctly shows FMC speed, because the logic when you're flying in VNAV is that the data is coming out of the flight management computer. So when you opened up the speed window, the sequence of data transfer, to call it that way, would be from the speed window into the FMC, into the VNAV mode, and then from there to the flight control computers and to the auto throttle. So the correct FMA for that is FMC speed, not MCP speed. Also, probably the most noticeable change in my personal opinion is that during an autoland you will now get a proper amount of nose up trim at 400 feet radio. Previously that was really underpronounced, so now that's quite a bit better, and that is because in case the autopilot disconnects during an autoland at low altitude, with that amount of up trim, the nose is just going to come up all by itself, aiding the pilot in the manual go-around sequence that you'll have to do in case of an autopilot failure during an automatic landing. Now, there is also some dampening added to the left and right rolls during a cruise, and that is something that is going to be most important when the new LNAV update is going to come out. But I can't talk about that LNAV update quite yet due to the non-disclosure agreement, so just take it as it's there, and it is going to be something that's going to matter in the future for you. There have also been a couple of changes on the outside model. So for example, the right side of the overwing exit grey outline used to be missing. It's there now, and also the reflection of the beacon. Previously the beacon has been reflecting inside the engine inlet, and that is not the case any longer, since obviously the beacon is located in the back and the engine housing is shielding it off. One final thing there is the flight deck textures. They have also received the flight deck seat textures. They've also received a little bit more work here with the latest update, and are looking a little bit better than they did before. So, there is one final change that I would like to mention here that I have overlooked previously, and that is that the rudder controls have changed. So first of all, the 737 is now fully compatible with gamepads for those who use them, which is also a big step towards getting the 737 into the marketplace. And PMDG has also finalized 2 settings for the user in the 737 options, which are either rudder control only or rudder and tiller access. Now, those used to be a little bit flawed in the previous version, so now it finally works correctly. If you select rudder only, then the rudder pedals are going to get full control over the nose wheel steering into the extremes. And if you use the rudder plus tiller axis option, which is basically what the real 737 has, then your rudder is going to move 7 degrees left and right off the center by using the rudder pedals. Or rather, your nose wheel steering is going to move 7 degrees left and right using the rudder pedals. And if you want more than 7 degrees of steering, then you'll have to use the tiller axis. Now that is quite handy when you're vacating a runway through a rapid exit taxiway, because on those you would normally use the rudder pedals to steer the airplane off the runway, and then only use the tiller when you're at lower speed to avoid the chance to over-control the airplane. This is now finally also correctly modeled and is available in the PMDG options in the FMC. For more details how to use it, refer to the introduction document where those options are explained. So, thank you very much for joining today. I hope you found this one interesting, and I'm looking forward to see you all in the virtual skies over this weekend, flying the new 737 update. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm looking forward to see you all again soon.